Hi, good afternoon. My name is Aniruddha Hazare and I represent Lokmat. We are Maharashtra's and Goa's #1 newspaper, as you know. With more than 2.2 crore readers, we are also India's sixth largest newspaper. Our digital and social media is also ruling above all other competitors with more than 3 crore unique visitors in last month itself. Lokmat has been always associated with Maharashtra and its people, participating in their joys and sorrows, bringing forward their challenges and issues so that we can seek answers from the relevant stakeholders. Our projects such as Lokmat Maharashtrian of the Year, Lokmat Most Stylish, Sarpanch Awards, World Orange Festival, they have been iconic properties, and our forums such as Sakhi Manch, which is a forum for women, or Pathshala, which is for children. We've been reaching almost more than 5 lakh members on a direct basis. For the last 100 days, the entire world is actually going through an unprecedented situation caused by the coronavirus. It has impacted almost every country in the world, and the economy has been the biggest loser. Most countries suffered lowering of output. Additionally, they had to dole out multiple packages to the sectors of the industry, and thus increasing deficit, slowing the overall economic growth. As far as India is concerned, we don't even know where the peak has already crossed or it's going to come after some time. And when is the economy going to be the normal? On top, we now have a China situation, which we don't know, where it's going. IMF yesterday, today we were reading that IMF has reduced its projection for the world as well as for India. Though the finance ministry 2 days back, I think, listed 14 indicators to display the early green shoots of economic revival. So there are a lot of questions in the minds of these individuals, business owners, corporate, alike. What is government doing? Whether the government is doing enough? The market indices is again, they have been going on a kind of a ride, roller coaster ride, and not giving clear signals. So what is the way ahead? How do we create more demand so as to boost the economy? We have this esteemed panel with us who's going to guide us finding some of these answers. So for the next 1 hour plus, we will hear from them and interact with them. Few thousands will get to hear them directly, but lakhs of them can read the same through the newspapers. So we start with our esteemed panel, and let me welcome Mr. S.S. Mundra, former Deputy Governor, Reserve Bank of India. Welcome, sir. Mr. Mundra is currently the Executive Chairman of Acute Ratings and Research. He was the Deputy Governor with Reserve Bank of India, and prior to that, the Chairman and Managing Director of Bank of Baroda. Mr. Mundra has been speaking at various forums on multiple topics and has delivered speeches both at domestic and international forums on MSME financing audit, fraud risk management, cyber security, and financial inclusion and literacy. Mr. Mundra, we would love to hear to your kind words, and we would like to know from you, what should BFSI industry look forward to in the next couple of months? Over to you, Mr. Mundra.
Thank you, Mr. Hazare. And let me begin with first complimenting the Lokmat media for organizing this series of webinars on very contemporary topics and very beneficial for their readers. And I also thank them for inviting me to today's webinar, particularly on BFSI sector. Now, at the outset, I must confess and admit that I am slightly confused about the today's subject vis-a-vis the today's audience, because the main topic of today's whole webinar is creating significant headways in the BFSI sector, and then opportunities for business and individuals. I am also asked to speak on the impact on BFSI sector and future opportunities. Now, as I understand, the audience for this webinar is primarily middle and small business and the individuals. And when we talk about BFSI sector, we are talking about the banks of all colors and creed, banks, cooperative banks, new sector bank, private bank, public sector bank, regional rural bank. We are also talking about the NBFCs. And we have, dozen of varieties of NBFC in India, as you know. And then we are talking about the capital market, particularly the debt capital market and the insurance. Now, when I put this canvas vis-a-vis the audience, I am found it really little difficult to connect that, what opportunities for this audience could be in the BFSI sector. That was my dilemma. But having said that, I thought I'll briefly cover on the sector itself, maybe some very narrow pocket which can concern particularly the medium-sized business connect to BFSI. And maybe probably the relevant question is that in the given circumstances, how the small, medium businesses, individuals should look at BFSI sector to support them, or what they can expect from there. Probably that could be the construct of discussion. But let me very quickly see primary problem today with the banking system vis-a-vis customer. If I put in one sentence, it is the trust deficit. There is a trust deficit between the banks and the customer, banks and NBFCs vis-a-vis their customers. And that is the reason that despite infusion of so much liquidity in the system by the central bank, by Reserve Bank of India, there are difficulties in ultimately liquidity going to the pockets which are in maximum need of this. There are, we all know there are highly stressed sectors like the real estate or the power sector or MSME as a whole gambit, which are highly stressed, and they are the one who are finding it difficult to have the resources. Now, see, we can't put the banks also completely on fault to this. Ultimately, banks are custodian of public money. They collect money from someone, give to someone. So they have to ensure that whatever they are lending, they are able to get it back so they can repay to those from whom they are borrowing, the depositors. This is where and if we, it's not a question of how you are today or what is your rating today. As Mr. Hazare mentioned, we don't know at what point of epidemic curve or pandemic curve we are. We don't know how long it is going to persist, what will be the final implication. So a banker would be looking for a possible future rating of a borrower 3 months, 6 months down the line in taking a credit decision. And that is the dilemma. But very briefly, 15 minutes is, I think, the topic versus time is something, if I try to say, it is like, as we say in Hindi, gagar mein sagar bharne ka prayatna. So you try to, put, so I'll not go to the macro economy and the RBI measures. These are the, very long driven topic. But the only point, what I feel that the moratorium and the certain forbearance which has been given by RBI, they are timely for the time being, because as we say, we don't know where we are going to be. But as my own sense is, this is right for now to allow some time and understand the degree of distress, but they may not be sufficient. Probably going forward, particularly for the sectors, particularly for the MSME, there may be a need of a one-time restructuring of the cases, which would be very, very important for the economy if we don't want to kill a number of units in this process. And for the system as a whole, for the larger thing, probably we have been always opposing so far the idea of bad bank, but now we are at the point of time that going forward in some shape or other, we may even, we will not be completely discarding that idea. Because even before the COVID, system was already at the 9 to 10% NPA level. And we don't know, this level, this stress level may even be double from where it is by the time we reach to the end point. So that would be very important. But still, if I talk about the medium-sized business and their opportunities on BFSI, I would simply say in very crisp form that maybe fintech companies would have the opportunities, because banks would be looking for the innovative models which these kind of units can provide to them, rather than they doing it themselves. Distribution business would have the opportunity. And for doing all this, the people who can bring technology innovation and who can be very nimble-footed would have opportunity in the BFSI sector. But really today what I want to talk about, just before I conclude within the time assigned to me, is something for the businesses and individuals. And I would like to correlate it with the corona precautions so that, you know, it gets registered in the mind. So I'll pick up 5 corona precautions and relate them in the business environment. So post COVID-19 or corona, what we say? Clean your hands, keep your hands clean, and wash them again and again. I would say for the business the same thing. Clean your hand. For a long time in our system, I won't be able to say that all the people have conducted their business with clean hands. You know, there had been business which are built on tax evasion. There had been business which are, you know, built on not honoring the contract, taking out the money. Uh, and it was expected that post rationalization of tax system, GST, etc., there would be a change. There is a change, but again I hear that there are people who are still trying to find ways within that. As a result, you know, business, there is never a basic strength is brought to the business. Capital is not built, and business is always running on the periphery. And in crisis like this, then this model of business has no resilience. There is no sustainability. So going forward, I would say that, you know, the business should be done with the clean hand. People should build the capital, should build the reserve, should build the resilience, and that is how the business should be done. Second corona principle is stay inside home. So if you have to remain safe, stay inside your home. For business, I would say stay inside home is do business in your core competence. What is your core competence? You know, taste a little success, and then there is all kind of diversification which is unrelated to you, which is not your core competency. So I am talking in a very kind of, you know, mantra so that we discipline the time. So stay within your home. The third corona principle, because there is a lot of business is not going on, there is some unemployment. So the third principle is live within your means. And same for the business. Live within your means. You know, for business and individuals, you use every opportunity, all the limits which are available, take as many credit cards as possible, use them to the hilt, take all personal loan, take all the loans against shares, and so over leverage. So over leverage is the most dangerous thing for a business as well as for the individual, as well as for the country, for everyone. I always say leveraging in the business should be like blood pressure in the body, neither too low nor too high. Not having leverage is not a good thing. It's not a good business strategy, but it should be a right leverage. Low BP is dangerous, high BP is dangerous. So that is the third. The fourth principle is maintain distance, no handshake, then do with namaste. Now, what for the business? See, today you will find in many seminars like this, today we are of course meeting virtually so that opportunities are not there, but some people come to various webinars or seminars just for shaking the hand. So whosoever is available, shake the hand and try to see, you know, if some business opportunity is coming. The point I am trying to tell here, again, you know, you divert the money, you divert your capital, you divert your from the business because someone has told you that, okay, put money into the property market, in the commodity market, in the share market, and within 3 months, 6 months, it will get double. Now, and people think, yes, this is a great opportunity, I'll do that, then bring the money back to business and everything is fine. Let me tell you here, always there is one success story in such area which is known to everyone. There are 99 failures and misery which is not known to anyone. And the people who try to do this model, neither they double their money and at the same time they kill their business. So that is why I say, remember, maintain distance, no handshake, say namaste to such tempting thing, and run your business in a very solid manner. The final point I would say before I conclude, because I believe we can deal with some of the specific issues more in Q&A rather than I try to cover this canvas. But the last is, as we say again in COVID-19, that in the first symptom of any problem, you go and get yourself test. Consult the expert, get yourself test done. Same I would say to the bank. If there are signs of trouble in the business, don't hide them. Go, talk to your consultant. Who are the consultants? Your bankers, your lenders, your stakeholders, all those agencies which are a stakeholder in the business. Unfortunately, particularly with the medium and small business, they try to hide the problem as long as they can. And in doing that effort, then balance sheet is doctored, receivable levels, inventory levels. You keep on showing a profit which is not there. And in the process, a stage comes when then any kind of correction is not possible. It has already moved beyond that. So in these cases, particularly your bankers, your lenders, your stakeholders are your consultants. They are your doctors. First sign of problem, go sit across, tell them clearly what is there, and then it would be possible to find a way well in time so that business can be recovered before it is too late. So I think I would like to say, rather than anything else, if people can get it registered in the mind and relate 5 COVID-19 principles with 5 business principles, so that once ultimately this thing will end sometime. There is always an end to, a light at the end of the tunnel. There would be a business as usual. Again, we forget all the history and again start doing the same thing which we have been doing. So this will be important that next, if again, I may sound alarmist, but if luck is giving you a second chance, let me not mince the word. In this kinds of crisis, there would be many casualties. Many businesses probably would have to shut their door. That's the reality we have to accept. But those who get second chance in the business life, if they remember these principles, it will be very helpful for them in the long run. So with that, I think I'll stop here, and thanks once again.
Mr. Mundra, thank you very much. In last 15 minutes, you very aptly, given us very apt mantras, I would say, 5 mantras, and I am sure all business people can remember that. Before me talking and asking some questions, I would get Mr. Umesh Sharma. Umesh Sharma ji is going to interact with all of you. So let me just introduce you, Mr. Umesh Sharma. He is ranked 42nd in All India CA Foundation exam in 1996. Currently the Vice Chairman of WIRC of ICAI. He was the youngest chairman of Aurangabad branch of WIRC in 2002. We know him very well because he's been writing a lot in Lokmat every week. I think there is a, he published a very interesting article called Kar Niti, very look forward to by a lot of professionals in the industry. And I think by now he has already written some 335 weekly articles. Same series is also hugely popular in CA Club India, Tax Guru and YouTube. So Mr. Umesh Sharma, over to you.
Yes, good afternoon. Thanks to Lokmat, thanks to Aniruddha ji, and thanks to Mundra ji. Sir, we have listened to you very carefully, and you have pointed out that there is a trust deficit between the banker and the consumer in this scenario. One question which comes in the mind that how the borrower should get the benefits of the relief declared by the RBI post-lockdown. What he should do if he doesn't get the reduced rates of interest or he doesn't get the benefit, what is the remedy available to that borrower? Because this question comes in mind of many businessmen, that whether my banker is giving me the relief or not.
As I said, there are reasons for the trust deficit, but if a customer has a relationship with the banks, for quite some time, ultimately, it will be wrong to say that a regulator can prescribe a remedy for each individual cases. That would never be possible. And there would always be individual cases where some may be dissatisfied and some may not get the satisfaction. So I think first port of call is to have discussion with your banker. But if you are not finding that satisfactory solution and there are specific cases, I think these are the areas where the associations can play very important role, where they can, kind of make a summary. I am sure there will be uniform kind of cases. There will be 5 or 10 variety of cases where people are finding it difficulty. And it will be important for these bodies to take up these cases as a forum so that a root cause remedy can be done, can be available. I understand practically at for individual levels, there could be frustration at times and people may not be able to find a way. But
Yes.
this will be a way.
So can you, sir, throw some light whether there is some contact mechanism with RBI to put a query or to put any issue coming to relief by the borrower?
No, as I say, individual cases are not entertained,
Okay,
and for
okay.
obvious reason, because there could be, a million query a given day, which is
Okay.
not possible.
Yes,
But
sir.
if association can pool some of the prominent issues which are being discussed, they can take it.
Okay, sir. And sir, you have rightly pointed out the 5 parameters that how to balance health and wealth both. क्योंकि
Yes.
आपने हेल्थ की बात कही और साथ में उसको वेल्थ से जोड़ा. दैट वाज वंडरफुल थिंग, सर. और आपने 5 मुद्दे बताए और ये 5 मुद्दे अगर जोड़ दे तो मुट्ठी बन जाती है. And that our MSME and or small borrowers will definitely benefit from it. Sir, one more question that post lockdown, what will be the impact of the digital transactions, that they will increase more and more, and how a borrower or the businessman should safeguard his digital transaction systems?
No, बिल्कुल वेरी रिलेवेंट क्वेश्चन. बहुत अच्छा आपने प्रश्न पूछा. जहां तक डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शन की जो वे दिख रही है, इवन ड्यूरिंग द लॉकडाउन पीरियड में ऑलरेडी डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शंस के लेवल में काफी इंक्रीज हुआ है. और हम सब देख रहे हैं आज वॉट एवर वी आर डूइंग टुडे इज आल्सो ए काइंड ऑफ डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शन. वी हैड नेवर थॉट दैट वी विल बी डूइंग ए वेबिनार इन दिस फैशन.
Yes.
एंड दिस इज रन फॉर. क्या होता है, नई आदत अगर 10-15 दिन में खत्म हो जाती तो शायद आदत पकड़ती नहीं. But it has run for enough time now and it is likely to run for some more time. So ये एक हैबिट सी बन गई है. So digital transactions are going to go increase only. Only problem in all such cases, then there are always cyber security related issues. There are, safeguards. So some of those, if people are trying to go in the digital, and they have to go, there is no other way. All those precautions must be taken. I sometimes used to say it like, again in a lighter way, I used to call it Lalaji and Munimji syndrome. What is that? It means Lalaji is very fond that he should be very progressive and he should adopt all the new technology and he should be running with the time, along with the time. But he can't handle the password. So Lalaji would obtain a technology system and Munimji would be handling the password. And that is what I used to call it, Lalaji Munimji syndrome. So see, there are some basic precautions which people must be taking. Of course, like the having the firewalls, changing the password periodically. Importantly, I think once in a while, they should get their system checked with the expert agencies which are available. This may involve some effort and some amount, but I think what they would save and the speed which they will get will more than compensate them.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for your kind concern on that security matter, because this is going to increase more and more. And at the end, sir, one question which is coming in the mind. Sir, what will be the impact of the recent development of RBI of taking the urban cooperative banks under them, and how it will impact on the rural economy? जैसे छोटे छोटे जो गांव के जो borrowers रहेंगे उनके ऊपर कैसा impact करेगा सर?
To my mind, it's a good step, and I would rather say it's a step which is long overdue. Now, let's first remove this misconception that RBI was not there at all and suddenly now RBI has come. It was always a dual control where RBI was also there and your then local registrar of cooperative societies was also there. Supervision in any case was happening from RBI only. This was more about the board level action and the regulation, which was a kind of joint thing. So, the issue, let us understand, any banking institution is primarily for the well-being and safety of its depositor. I would say not even the shareholders, not the borrowers, the depositor. But it's the strange thing that this animal, which is called Urban Cooperative Bank, is the only institution which is, board is also run by the borrowing community and not the deposit community. So I think there is nothing to the people who are doing the fair business. They have nothing to worry about it. It will be good. It will be good for depositor. It will also be good for the right borrower. So that will be my take.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. And at last, what you said, गागर में सागर, जैसे एक छोटे समय के अंदर इतना बड़ा आपको बोलना था, तो आज तो कई लोगों की घाघर खाली हो चुकी है, भले गवर्नमेंट ने सागर खोला है. तो जस्ट एक जाते जाते सर, कि अब ये सागर को फिर से घाघर में भरने के लिए क्या करना चाहिए छोटे छोटे बिजनेसमैन ने? जो तो आपने तो कही है 5 बातें, और एक कंक्लूडिंग रिमार्क सर आपका.
नहीं, मैं सिर्फ कहूँगा, देखिए मैंने कहा था कि अच्छा नहीं लगेगा सुनने में, लेकिन जो बातें हैं कि बहुत सारे बिजनेसेस प्रॉब्ली विल बी फेसिंग द एग्जिस्टेंशियल थ्रेट. आपको जब ये एंड पॉइंट नियर आने लगेगा, यू हैव टू टेक ए वेरी ऑब्जेक्टिव कॉल. आप अपने बिजनेस को चालू रखने की स्थिति में हैं या इस टाइम पे वाइंड अप कर देना इज मोर वाइज रादर देन थ्रोइंग गुड मनी आफ्टर बैड मनी. So what we call in treasury language, cut the losses.
Okay.
If you can't do it alone, seek for the alliances. See, and cut the operating cost. Don't waste this time of crisis. Plan for the future. Create 3 scenarios. As usual scenario, worst case scenario, best case scenario. And start thinking right now, if one of the scenario materializes, what should I do? Preserve the cash. I think these are the things one need to do.
थैंक यू सर, सो नाइस ऑफ यू सर, और आपने बहुत अच्छे तरीके से इसको सम अप किया है. एंड थैंक्स that we got your knowledge, experience and words of wisdom. Now over to you, Aniruddha sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mundra sir. Thank you very much, for your kind guidance to us. Let me introduce my next speaker, Mr. Abhay Buttada. He's the Managing Director and CEO of Gunawala Finance. Seasoned financial professional with very diversified experience in the domain of especially the commercial and retail lending. Abhay has pioneered the digital lending concept and building of the flexible digital lending platform in Gunawala Finance. He's managing the overall performance and growth of the company and is instrumental in making strategic decisions. He was awarded the Young Entrepreneur of India Award in the year 2017. Over to you, Mr. Abhay Buttada.
Yeah. So hello everyone for joining in today, and thanks Lokmat for inviting me here. So I will just give a quick introduction about Gunawala Finance. We are RBI registered non-deposit taking NBFC, which was started in April 2019. The current AUM is close to 1500 crore, and we have the product ranges starts from personal loan, business loan, professional loan, and the entire journey is digital, end to end, starts from the loan application till the loan disbursement. Currently, we are operating at major states in India, and it's a part of Cyrus Poonawalla Group, which is valued at close to $15 million as per the today's valuation. And Poonawala's name stands for trust, passion, and the business excellence, and which is now creating a new benchmark as an NBFC. So basically, Gunawala Finance was started to bring trust and transparency in the overall digital lending sector. So I will not give more details about the entity, and those who want more detail, they can go to our website and they can get all the group detail, the company detail, and overall other details. So coming back to the topic of today is growing preferences for digital lending for the consumer part. Of course, everybody is talking about the banks, NBFC, their own entities, but what is there for the customers and how digital lending will help to the customers? Because if you see the yesterday's RBI announcement, most of the digital player or the fintech player due to unnecessary hidden charges or the extra interest rate or the wrong malpractices of recovery and other things. Now RBI at the same time is supporting all digital lender. At the same time, they are coming with a new guidelines, stringent guidelines for all the digital lenders wherein you are not meeting the customer, but at the same time you are capturing a lot of database from the borrower. Maybe you'll have to download the mobile application and they will read your SMS, contacts, a lot of database. Most of them, they are going through this route, and most of them following all the guidelines, though they are in the digital lending space. So we'll start the detailed discussion about the digital lending. So past few years, we have observed a huge credit offtake in retail loans, business loan, or maybe consumer loans, especially in this phase wherein these kinds of retail unsecured loan wherein the end-to-end digital journey is possible. The same class of customer is also turning more and more tech savvy with a smart use of digital means like smartphone, laptops, and other digital means. So I believe I'm telling you one very important thing. So COVID may be the trigger for our digital lending industry and what demonetization did for the digital payment industry. So this is very important. I have heard Nitin Gadkari ji saying in most of the seminar, the COVID is like especially the blessing in disguise. So similar to us, so a lot of digital lending industry, COVID will be the trigger for them. So similar to what demonetization did for the digital payment. So digital lending was an evolving space, and the COVID has given it the right push to expedite it and sprint in the fast lane. So if you talk about the retail loan, there will be 5 pillars which will drive the expansion of the retail loan industry. So if you talk about the new database, the access to newer data. So nowadays we, on the basis of OTP, we get your ITR, we get the GST data, we get the entire data from the bureau. So with such kind of technological advances, everything is available on, we will require very, very limited fields from the customer. So product innovation in line with, according to what changing consumer behavior pattern. Then overall regulatory and government initiative are supporting to overall retail loan industry in terms of the digital loan. So its benefit is overall reduction in cost for both the lender as well as the borrower. So if you see the paperless, or what we call is a contactless lending, it should be a part of lender's SOP now. So everybody will focus on the total stage of the entire loan life cycle, including application processing, borrower evaluation, decision management, disbursement to servicing, collateral management, collection, reporting, compliance. So nowadays it is 100% fully automated. There is no manual intervention. The question is not which part of the lending process you will automate or digitize. It is how you make every step of loan life cycle fully digital or fully automation, as well as secure, efficient, and low risk, and it should be a proper streamline. So 4 fundamental driver I want to highlight which are boosting the digital lending space. One is, of course, consumer behaviors are changing dramatically and shaped by the experience offered by the internet giants and other people. Then second is, as I told you, rapid technological advances led by ever increasing penetration of the smartphone and other database. Then of course the regulatory part is there. And the fourth will be the innovations in the models of lenders resulting in an exponential growing market. And what is benefit for the customer is the experience is very simple, efficient, and the convenient. Second, transparency is there. Applicant can track the status of application, funding process, reduce cost of borrowing, quicker decisioning, instant decisioning are available for most of the unsecured small retail loans. And the procedure is simple process, minimum document, less documentation, and you don't have to give maximum document unlike you provide to the traditional NBFC or the traditional banks. And again, the same lot of advantages are for the lender as well, like reduced cost of lending because of the lower OPEX. You don't have to, you can apply from anywhere, anytime. You can use a lot of technology, and we can save a lot of manpower cost as an NBFC. Faster TAT, attract new age customer, as well as will try to retain all the existing customer. Larger volume of loan application can be handled with the use of the technology. And there will not be any subjectivity in decision making. That is the most important. So the key highlight is basically the adverse effect of the COVID-19 pandemic can be witnessed across the major sector in the Indian economy. But if you see in the short-term loan moratorium and the new loans, and the risk will be only to the new loans, not to the existing loans because of the moratorium, the short term. But of course, the long term, there will be a risk through early warning system, people are creating data lake, which is integrated. A lot of APIs are available, which is integrated with your GST, TDS, a lot of other APIs are available. So a lot of early warning systems are available, and we can help customer before he gets into the trouble. So that is again a good thing for all the digital lender and those customers, those who are dealing with the digital NBFC or those banks who are focusing on this kind of services. So fintech players or all the NBFCs which are into digital very evidently are prioritizing their strategy with many changes according to the rules and the market condition. So if you see the basics of digital lending is of course user-friendly interface, quick initial decisioning, then cloud integration. Most of the things are available on the cloud. So considering this corona thing, we can handle entire thing. We have tried and tested last 3-4 months. Most of the people still working from home. So advanced metrics are available. So basically, if you see the overall digital lending platform with this kind of principles of financial inclusivity will emerge as the heroes of the financial crisis. And of course, it is beneficial for MSME as well. So a lot of, if you talk about the MSME, of course, we live in a world where COVID-19 has become a major part of our lives. So if you see COVID-19 lockdown has expedited the digital first approach, helping the country's digital India vision to move to step closer to a reality. In such scenario, consumer will become more mindful of large spending, digital lending will gain momentum. At the same time, if you see eKYC, VCIP will only add the upsurge in the trend. So being seamless and digital in nature, it will offer people the convenience to continue life and there will not be any delay. So using this all kinds of this micro credits, customers can clear their lot of bills and other things on a quick basis. So leveraging technology such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, or what we call big data analytics, automated loan offering, contactless lending will act enablers of timely digital disbursement. And these all micro credits can be accessed by consumer in less than 10 minutes of a virtual eKYC completion. So how this lot of fintech player or onboarding all the other players, those who are banks which are in this, how they are cope up with this kind of crisis. If you see the overall digital onboarding helped by NBFC or the banks, it is because of the video KYC and a lot of databases available. Like we are launching some of the products wherein on an absolute basis, you don't have to provide any single document. Once you provide PAN number, we can pull the bureau data. Once you provide your PAN number, it is automatically, if you are registered under GST, we can pull GST data, we can pull TDS data. At back end, everything is available and we have the pre-approved already offer for you. So on the basis of your mobile as a unique identifier or the PAN number, we have already pre-approved offer for most of the retail consumer as well as for the MSME customer. So if you see the timely online filing for MSME, or Umesh ji said, what is the instruction or any suggestion to the small businessmen? So all digital lenders, they are looking for online filing of GST on time, EPFO on time, other regulatory filing. You should build a digital profile. You should build a digital network. Then they should adapt for all the digital platform where they can automate their system and they can enhance their processes. And at the same time, they need to enhance their trust score as well. So social score is important, financial score is important, other scores are important. So with this kind of data inside good behavior, of course, MSMEs can improve their trust score, and which we are using for evaluation of credit worthiness. And apart from the CIBIL, so they should be always, you should be always be future ready. So keep pace with, you can see the industry statistics. And if you talk about the adoption of the new technology, I think MSME, the only challenge faced by a lot of MSME till date is most of the fintech and the digital player. So if tomorrow, if Umesh Sharma is a chartered accountant, if you are a digital player, that doesn't mean you will charge 18%, 24%. So now because of this COVID, Cooperative Bank, Private Bank, PSU Bank, everybody talks about the end-to-end digital journey, wherein though I'm getting loan in 10 minutes, I can wait for 10 days, but I'm looking for no hidden charges, zero prepayment, lower rate of interest. So unlike other players, now there is a huge competition amongst the digital lender as well. And I think customers should take advantage of this situation, wherein it is a myth that a lot of digital player, like Mudulaji said, because of few of the players, entire industry will suffer, because RBI at one point they are supporting also, at other point they are coming with lot of stringent guidelines. But there are good digital lenders wherein their rate is bigger NBFC. I'm talking about their rate is at par with premium private bank, or their rate is at par with premium PSU bank. So this is what the end-to-end digital journey is, and we can discuss any specific question from the customer side, because whenever we do any survey, lot of customers where the CIBIL score is 750 or 800 plus, or with a great good credit score, they feel they have done something wrong in the past with regards to any online application, security of data, and so many other things. So I can assure them with a lot of other players are available, and a lot of private banks nowadays, there is no major difference between the private bank and the digital player. All the premium private bank, premium and bigger NBFCs, more or the less, everybody, they have the same kind of technology. Everybody is using the data and so many other things. So I think customers should look for this prepayment penalty, the rate of interest, and of course, there is a huge gap in the demand and the supply. Earlier, we used to see people coming to for home renovation, lot of other loan, wedding loan, other loan. Now there is no demand at all, because good customer, they don't want loan. So again, we are suffering a lot of issues with regards to the quality customer as well. But because of this COVID situation, the people, small kirana shop, pharmacy, those who are focusing on essential services, now they are looking for either business expansion, so there will not be any disturbance in the supply. At the same time, they are looking to refinance their cost. So a lot of MSMEs, they feel whenever our call center, we get a feedback that they are not looking for any additional loan. But when we check at their backend data, their existing rate is 18%, 20%, 24%. Maximum chartered accountant from even bigger NBFs in the private bank taken loan at flat rate or maybe at 13, 14 rate, wherein a lot of people like us or other bigger NBFCs and the good private banks, they're offering at between 9.5 to 10%. So of course, they can refinance their existing high cost loan. And apart from the operating cost, I think borrowing cost starts from the service sector and the overall MSME manufacturing and the trading sector as well. They should look out in this COVID thing. They can explore the refinancing consolidation of the existing loan, and they can reduce their interest cost drastically. And they should actually take advantage of this situation and the overall market scenario. So Aniruddha ji, thank you, and Umesh ji, over to you, and we can discuss any specific question with regards to digital lending or any specific industry related question.
Thank you, Abhay sir, for giving the whole idea about the digital loaning, because this is the area where the new or the small businessmen are little bit worried whether they should physically deal with the banker or they can go for the digital mode. And you have given a very good roadmap that digital banking is also an easy one. Sir, one question that from your understanding, the compliance of tax is also one of the parameter. So if there are any issues in tax compliance, whether there will be issue in your digital loaning software or say parameters. And one more thing, what is there for a new borrower? Because the new borrower will not having any history of PAN or GST returns and all these things. तो उसको कैसे आप इवेल्युएट करेंगे फॉर न्यू स्टार्टअप एंड न्यू बोरोवर्स, क्योंकि कोविड के बाद में नए बिजनेसेस भी स्टार्ट हो सकते हैं.
Correct. So Umesh ji, I will start with your first question first. Like if you talk about the tax compliances, it's not like that if somebody is not paying GST on time or TDS on time. There are always, depend on the entity to entity, internal deviations are available. So most of the players, they focus on a cash flow based lending rather than ratio analysis. So they will explore what was the reason of delay? Is there any delay in the payment of receivable or any other thing? The net worth of the promoter, lot of other factors are there. The bureau, past pattern, is there any delay in the EMI? So we also give relaxation if somebody is not paying GST, 1 month delay or 2 month delay. So there are a lot of internal mitigants are available. On the basis of that, we take a call. So it's not like that. So a lot of times what happens, they're paying EMI on time. So there are 30 to 40% people are in India wherein they are paying EMI on time. At the same time, they are not paying GST on time, because they know once they start defaulting on the EMI, they will not get the loan. but there are certain reasons behind this, and on the basis of physical discussion or on certain times on the basis of video PD, we get to know all the reasons. On that basis, we take an internal deviation, and again it depends on a case-to-case basis and entity-to-entity basis, and we'll take a practical approach. So willingness to pay and overall ability to pay, both things we will evaluate and then we'll take a call.
Okay.
So coming back to your second question about the new. So for startup, I guess most of the PSU bank and most of the government schemes are there. There are very, very few NBFC, I will say, who focus on a startup. So on a lower to lower side, we try to support to the industry, but minimum 1 year vintage is required. If somebody wants to start the new business, at least we look for 3 to 6 months of banking just to focus, because most of the bigger NBFCs, they borrow from the bank, so they will not would like to take the risk. So I think PSU banks, they have a lot of scheme. Mudra, they have a lot of schemes. SIDBI, they have scheme for startup. So most of the PSU bank, few private bank, and very, very few NBFC will focus on a startup. But yes, there are a lot of schemes are available from the government side, apart from the Mudra loans.
Yes, Abhayji, you have given a very good guidance that for a new borrower, they should always focus on their tax compliance, and they should also go for their nationalized bank and make a good score, and then come back to NBFCs for the reduced rate of interest or for the expansion. Now, last thing, what is the impact of the COVID on the digital borrowing, like Bajaj Finance and all are there? So how you see the retail expenditure going up of the consumer, and for how many years or for how many quarters the impact is there in India?
See, basically, if you talk about the recoveries and collections are ultimately a function of the activity levels and surplus generation of by companies or any individual. So we are already seeing that even over the past few days, after the unlock started, activity levels are coming back. Possibly in some metro cities which are more impacted by the virus, the lag may be a little more compared with the rebound you are seeing in smaller town, tier 2, tier 3 cities. When we are looking at repayment or overall history, we would want to make sure we schedule this in a manner that is suited to the requirement of the particular industry or to that particular borrower. So one size fits all approach was fine in the initial phase before the lockdown, or maybe at the initial phases of the lockdown. Now I think as on today, we should calibrate it and be deeply engaged with the borrower. We need to understand their requirement, and this one size fits all approach will not be suitable for all. So according to this, post-moratorium period, we'll get to know the overall idea. It all depends on the impact on the unemployment, impact on the job losses, impact of the existing government scheme. What was this Atmanirbhar 20 lakh package? So I think next 2 to 3 months we'll get a fair idea. Until the moratorium gets over, we'll not be able to get to know the real situation.
Okay, so for coming quarters, you will watch, and after the end of this financial year, you will get the real picture, what is you have said. So looking toward this, sir, Abhayji, can we say that for this financial year, there will be a volatile situation, or you feel some good news at the end?
Honestly speaking, on certain sectors, there is a permanent damage. Every news reports or everybody, they have the different opinion. I personally feel on certain sectors, there is a permanent damage like travel, hospitality, and a lot of other sectors, wherein it will take 2 to 3 years to come back to the pre-COVID level. But on certain sectors, you can expect a V-shaped recovery. So I think in Q4, we'll see at least 60 to 70% of the recovery. And Q1 of next financial year, I think 50 to 60% sector will be at the pre-COVID levels.
Yes, thanks for the forecast that you have given for the coming quarters, and that will definitely help to all the businesses and all the participants who are there, क्योंकि जो लोग सुन रहे हैं उनको भी आगे की भविष्य की प्लानिंग के लिए ये सब चीजें बहुत जरूरी थी। और जो आपने कहा कि एक पूनावाला and the name, the trust and the guidance given by you, that is going definitely going to help and come to you for the financial help by our participants. And now I hand over to Aniruddha ji for the further proceeding. Thank you, Ji.
Dhanyawad Abhay ji, dhanyawad Umesh ji. Now we have a very important speaker. People are looking forward to what he's going to talk today. CA Shri Atul Kumar Gupta ji, President hai Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Very, very respected person, a commerce and a law graduate by education. Atul Gupta ji has imbibed a unique perspective of the view and critically addressed the matters. He has led the cause of profession through various committees of the institute, serving as chairman of Digital Accounting and Assurance Board of Studies, IT Committee and Indirect Tax Committee, among others. Sir is also known for his key contribution as the facilitator of the GST regime, particularly in its formative years. And we all know that how the GST has been implemented in India, and we are all proud of it, Mr. Gupta ji. I call upon Shri Atul Kumar Gupta ji, President ICAI, and he's going to speak about the COVID impact on the business investors outlook. Over to you, sir.
Thank you to Lokmat and Umesh ji for giving this opportunity to share some of my thoughts in relation to the topic being assigned and the entire things which we are discussing. So I was hearing the Honorable past Governor of the RBI and as well as the other colleagues and the entire discussion. And each one of us will agree that because of the lockdown and pandemic situation, the entire business community, the MSME, even the labor class, everybody is in a stressed environment. And the impact can be seen with the results we have available with us. Not exactly the April, May, June result, but you are aware that the tax we are getting in terms of the GST or even for the other indicators are available, that there will be a much deeper slowdown and the recession which we were expecting, and there are the signals which are coming. So the business outlook, I will say that for the certain specific sector, because of the travel restrictions are there. So may it be the hospitality, may it be the tourism sectors, which are the most sufferer. Even I will tell you that that at times I feel that because of the large scale migration, even in the times to come, the manufacturing facilities will also face a lot of challenge in terms of the skilled labor available with them, even after the lockdown will be over for the next 4 to 6 months time. So this is all we need to understand and visualize that what will be the impact on the business. Now coming to the investors outlook. So as Mundraji was mentioning you about the cash and how to see all these things in that perspective. I will also like to convey that when we are talking about the investors outlook, it's a very difficult time, very challenging time. One side, even the money is not available, the spare money is not available to invest. So the first one, you should have the money available with you to invest. And even there is an apprehension that how long the this lockdown and the situation will be there. So even like a chartered accountant, Umesh is sitting with you, and he right now the office is working like a remote working of the office is there. And even a smallest organization is billing to a particular client or supplying something goods to somebody. He is not sure that when the payments will come, and you have to pay to your staff, you have to pay to the salaries and the other administrative expenses are there, which are continuing. So everybody is like trying to maintain at least some kind of a cushion available. So the investment on that perspective is also getting a hit because even if you don't have if you have the cash available, you are keeping something for the future apprehension or the probabilities that how much time it will take to open up and the payment gets circulated in the system. Now, apart from that, even if you have still the spare money available
and you are looking for the investment option, there are few challenges which I can see. The first one is the safety of the money, because now you can see that just to share with you an example, that now the insolvency period has been extended to 1 year, that nobody will be there to file the insolvency applications will not be there. And the person who is investing money into a particular company, he is not aware whether what will be the situation of that company in this lockdown situation. So if somebody is investing in a hospitality industry or maybe in the tourism sector, practically there will be no way. Then you will be having apprehension about the investment in the other sector of the other sectors as well, because the certainty is a big issue which is creating a doubt in the mind of all the investors. Then there is again the very important aspect that how to develop a long-term vision, because after the pandemic, what will happen? There will be certain companies which will wiped out entirely. There will be the new way of doing business, as rightly mentioned by our previous speaker, that the technology will take over. So you will find the new areas which will be emerging. For example, right now we are discussing on a Zoom call or whatever that application we are using. So this was not there earlier in the discussion, but now this is the I will say the big chunk of business which is coming online. The e-commerce activities are getting promoted, because we are worried about the visiting the markets, and everybody is looking if they have the available resources available with them. So they are looking for an online buying rather than they are going for a physical buying. So what is happening? The companies which were not there in the existence, they were very small player, they are becoming large, and there are companies which are already available in the market, but they are getting gradually either vanished or their activities are getting subdued because of this lockdown and the pandemic situation. So what is happening? I'm trying to convey you that the long-term vision is not getting developed. That okay, if I am going to invest for 5 years, 10 years down the line, because in the short term you will not get that kind of a return which you are looking for. The short-term returns are very, I will say, the scary, very small one, very less like a reduced rate of interest are available, and the ROI is very, I will say, on a lower side. But in case you want to create a long-term vision, then that is creating a challenge that which sector I will go for, because there will be the uncertainty that certain companies are emerging out, new sectors are developing, and the old sectors are going down. The third one is about the portfolio, because what is happening that there is a great thrust even by India and the other global companies on the sustainable development goals. For example, the companies who are using the thermal power and the companies which are using the non-renewable energy. So there is always a call from the international leaders that you have to have a portfolio which is giving you that kind of a support, that your portfolio is much of most of the companies which are promoting the sustainable development goals. Even I attended a meeting in the United Nations last year before the lockdown situation was there, and there was a call. There was a discussion going on that how we can have more and more investment and the portfolio in the companies which are promoting the sustainable development goals. I just wish to share with you another example that nobody was looking for, nobody can visualize that what will happen with the HMT ambassador or the Nokia and so on, because they not invented themselves. Because they wiped out from the system because they have not invented within themselves that what new things we have to do. Same way, there will be a call that gradually there will be a call of promoting the sustainable development goals, the recycling of water, then the use of the renewable energy. There will be the indigenous purchase as compared to the more and more imports. So what will happen that there will be again a settling of the business system in the times to come because of the this particular aspect as well. Then coming to the very, very important aspect that even the Gunawala ji was touching upon, that the coordination among the stakeholders, because there is a system which is required that say for example somebody is paying the EMI but somebody is not paying the GST. Now from the one side the RBI, I will say from the not exactly the RBI but the financial sector. So financial sector will say no, yeah, this person is a good person, I can bank upon on this person. But whereas that person is not paying the GST, meaning thereby he is doing a non-compliance of the tax department. But there is no interconnectivity between the two regulators. So what is happening? One computer is not speaking to the another computer. One red flag created at the one place is not being addressed to the red flag to the another place. So that is exactly what is happening because of this. That because of this particular aspect, So you are not able to have the kind of assurance in your mind that in case I'm investing in a particular company, that company have the there is no red flag by one or the other regulator. So that kind of an environment we need to create to have the better confidence of the investor that I can see. For example, so if the Gunawala ji want to give a money to me, he will go for a credit rating. So there is a score, CIBIL score is available. So he will see whether my score is 800 or 850 or something like that. So he is aware about the person to whom he is giving the money. But in case I want to invest the same money into the Gunawala company, and whether I have the complete details available, what is the score of the CIBIL score of the Gunawala and company is not available to a common man. So that is something we need to create, that the stakeholders coordination, and then creating that kind of a ecosystem that somebody will have the confidence over one or the other company. Then again, there will be a challenge because of the since the lending rate is getting reduced, automatically the rate of interest I'm getting on my deposits. Say for example, I am going for a fixed deposit, that is also getting reduced by day. So that is something creating a different kind of a scenario. So a common man is not able to understand whether I should invest in the shares, whether I should invest in the jewelry, gold, or whether I should do a FD in a one or the other bank. Thankfully, now the FRDI has a extended limit of 10 lakhs rupees as an insurance on my deposit. Earlier, it was only 1 lakh rupees. So thankfully, now we have the little bit of a, I will say, the safety of my money if that is there in the bank, specifically in the scheduled bank or some nationalized bank. But again, there will be a challenge, and thankfully, I believe after the cooperative banks are being taken over by the RBI, there will be that kind of a relief will be available to the investor or to the depositor, that my money is there in the safe hands. Now coming to the last point of my discussion, but so I would like to touch upon the one point which is being discussed by the my colleagues from the Gunawala and company, that is something about the technology is being used in this fintech arena. I was there in the Japan a year before, and there was a presentation on the Philippines, and I see that this can be very important feedback to Mr. This gentleman from the Gunawala and company, maybe CA Aveji or some that how you can have the fintech being used in the the technology can be used in this finance business. So right now you are aware that we have a system of a EMI, the equated monthly installment. So if you want to buy a car, you have to pay the EMI. But for that, you have to showcase that, okay, for 15,000 rupees, I am filing a 40,000 rupees return or a 50,000 rupees return on a monthly basis, meaning thereby my annual return is around 6 lakhs rupees. Then you will finance me the car. Now, what is happening that the auto rickshaw driver or a rickshaw puller is not having an annual return of 6 lakhs rupees. But he can't pay 15,000 rupees or 20,000 rupees at one go on a monthly basis. But what he can do, that he can pay 500 rupees on a daily basis. So what started a Philippines based company started, that they developed a chip, and that chip will be placed on, along with the engine, and that will be like a recharge card. So the moment you will recharge your card, the engine will start, and that engine can be, that the vehicle can be used for the next few hours till the money will not get exhausted, which was being recharged through the card. So they started with the concept of an EDI, that is equated daily installment rather than the EMI. And by virtue of that, they start empowering the lower strata of the society, the rickshaw pullers and the auto rickshaw driver, to become the Uber or they owning their own car, or maybe attaching with themselves with the Uber or Ola like companies, and to provide the this services through this motor vehicle rather than concentrating only on the rickshaw puller or auto rickshaw person. So what I am trying to convey you, that the technology is taking a big role, not only for this activity or that activity, but also in the fintech business. Today, what is happening, everybody like Anirudhji, yourself, Umeshji or Abhayji, everybody in the family is paying through the online mode, maybe one or the other way to get something purchased, or to pay to some vendor, or to even to a service provider. Even the milk, today you want to buy a milk, you can pay online, and the milk provider will supply you the milk at home because of the corona pandemic, and you are worried about to go outside in the market. So all these things are there, and I believe that with the passage of time, more clarity, the clouds will, there will be more clarity available in the system, and there will be more conducive environments in the society and in the market to have the better investor confidence. I just wish to convey you the last point, which is very, very important, that by your Lokmat, I wish to create a voice that let us create a coordination among the various stakeholders, that if my civil score is available to you as a Gunawala and Company, how I can see the civil score of a Gunawala and Company, and that is exactly a computer speaking to another computer. A red flag created by one regulator can be available to all the regulators, so that there will be a close coordination among the all these regulators, so that we can develop a strong society for the times to come. Thank you very much for Lokmat for giving this opportunity. I believe that I have not jumped my time schedule which is given to me. It was around 15 minutes. So more or less it was 15 minutes only which is being assigned to me. Over to Umeshji, Anirudhji and other colleagues. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Or let me tell you all that we all chartered accountants are very fortunate to have our president Atul Gupta sir, and you have listened it and you now judge that how safe our ICI is there in the hands of our Atul Gupta ji. And one of the most important thing that Atul sir has given is the changing the scenario of EMI to EDI. Abhayji, this is one of the area which is a new area, and our president sir has guided you and to the whole industry, and sir has also put a very good note on the investors outlook and the long-term perspective and short-term perspective, the shareholders knowledge about his portfolio and where he is going to invest, and the issues of credit rating, and what to do in the new digitalized area. Sir has shared in very short time all the wisdom, all the knowledge which he was able to do. And ऐसा लग रहा था कि सर आपको हमने रोका ही नहीं चाहिए, आपने बोलते ही रहना चाहिए. It is like that, but समय की धारा को देखते हुए रोकना पड़ रहा है. And the guidance given by sir that Lokmat should come up with all regulator and make a cohesive atmosphere and a concentrated effort. I think we, Aniruddha ji and Lokmat, we all will do, sir, that needful. And we will take guidance now and then with you. Sir, one question has come up. Why GST rates are not reduced post-pandemic? ये एक participant का question है. You are a GST guru, so you are a right person to answer, sir. From both the side, from government side and from the consumer side.
देखिए उमेश जी, मैं एक बात कहना चाहूंगा कि जीएसटी के रेट कम करने से या जीएसटी के रेट ज्यादा करने से कोई सोल्यूशन कुछ भी नहीं है. ये केवल और केवल एक, मैं कहूंगा कि लहर होती है कि आपने बोला जीएसटी के रेट कम होने चाहिए अनुरुद्ध जी को, अनुरुद्ध जी ने मुझे बोला, मैंने किसी और को बोल दिया. अल्टीमेटली जो सोल्यूशन है वो है कि डिमांड्स को इंक्रीज करना. अल्टीमेटली सोल्यूशन है कि पब्लिक के पास जो व्यक्ति स्पेंड करता है, जो उसकी परचेजिंग पावर को मजबूत करना, जिससे कि वो परचेज करे. अल्टीमेटली जीएसटी अगर 12 होगा या 18 होगा या 1 मिनट के लिए हमारा कोई और रेट होगा, अल्टीमेटली जो है वो तो क्रेडिट के थ्रू सबस्यूम होके अल्टीमेटली कस्टमर को तो मोर और लेस चीजें जो है वो उसी रेट पे ही आ पाती हैं. ठीक है साहब. तो इम्पोर्टेंट जो है वो जीएसटी का रेट को टच करने का नहीं है. इम्पोर्टेंस है इस वक्त जो है वो व्यक्ति के हाथ में पैसा होना कि वो स्पेंड कर पाए, खर्चा कर पाए, जिससे कि डिमांड क्रिएट हो मार्केट में. और डिमांड क्रिएट होगी तो ऑटोमेटिकली जो है वो हमारा बिजनेस जो है वो अपने आप में स्टैंड कर जाता है.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And sir, one more question has come. It is correlated to Atmanirbhar Bharat and the current situation of imports and exports, that how this China will affect to our economy. The recent disturbance between China and the stopping of imports or checking of imports rather than 100% checking of imports of Chinese goods. So what you feel, sir? That is one of the question come up from the participant.
देखिए ऐसा है, इस विषय पे कुछ ज्यादा बातें तो अभी हम लोग इस तरीके से नहीं कह सकते, लेकिन मैं आपको सिर्फ एक बात कहूंगा कि आत्मनिर्भर भारत का मतलब, जैसे कि हमारी सरकार ने भी बोला, कहीं पर भी ये नहीं है कि हम लोग इंटरनेशनल बिजनेस नहीं करेंगे. बात ये कही गई है कि हम लोग जो है वो अपने आप में सेल्फ सफिशिएंट हों, हम अपने आप में सेल्फ सफिशिएंसी हो। अगर मुझे सप्लाई चेन चाहिए तो मेरे पास अपनी सप्लाई चेन है, मुझे डिमांड की तो मुझे कोई दिक्कत ही नहीं है। डिमांड की तो मेरे पास जो है, वी आर दी प्रैक्टिकली द लार्जेस्ट मार्केट एट द ग्लोबल लेवल। बात ये है कि हमारे को सप्लाई अगर किसी चीज की चाहिए तो मैं किसी पे डिपेंडेंट नहीं हूँ, और जब तक मैं 1 मिनट के लिए डिपेंडेंट रहूंगा तब तक मैं 1 मिनट के लिए सिचुएशन में नहीं रहूंगा कि मैं इक्वल उस पर बात कर पाऊँ। तो अपने को धीरे धीरे करके अपनी डिपेंडेंसी को कम करना है। उसके लिए हमें इन्वेस्टमेंट भी करनी है, हमें R&D भी करनी है, हमें MSME को सपोर्ट भी करना है, हमें उनको बूस्ट भी करना है। इवन हमारे को उनकी, अगर हमें उनको कैपिटल सब्सिडी देनी है, हमें उनके लिए स्पेशल जोन्स बनाने हैं। तो अल्टीमेटली ये एक दिन का काम नहीं होता कि अचानक से आप सोचें कि मैं और आप सोचे कल हम से आत्मनिर्भर कल से हो जाएंगे जी। तो ये ऐसा नहीं है कि घर में हम काम कर रहे हैं तो भाभी जी गुस्सा कर रही हैं तो आप बोले कल से मैं आत्मनिर्भर हो जाऊंगा और मैं पानी अपने आप पी लूंगा। तो ये जो है, ये हमारे को पूरा का पूरा इकोसिस्टम बनाना होता है, और इकोसिस्टम बनाने के लिए जो है वो ओवर ए पीरियड काफी टाइम लगता है, और उस टाइम तक आपको जो भी आपको, लेकिन हाँ कुछ चीजें ऐसी हैं, जैसे मैं आपको एग्जांपल बताता हूँ कि जहां पर मतलब मैं अनफेयर मीन्स यूज वर्ड नहीं करना चाह रहा हूँ, लेकिन मैं आपको मतलब उसका नजदीकी कोई वर्ड मुझे वो नहीं आ रहा है कि प्रूडेंट प्रैक्टिसेस फॉलो रहनी चाहिए। तो आज अगर मान लीजिए इंपोर्ट हो रहा है और प्रूडेंट प्रैक्टिसेस के तहत नहीं हो रहा है, जैसे आपको मैं एक बात बताऊंगा उमेश जी, क्योंकि आप चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट हो तो बात को समझ पाएंगे। पहले हमारे CVD लगती थी, और CVD इक्विवेलेंट टू एक्साइज ड्यूटी होती थी और कस्टम ड्यूटी लगती थी। तो अगर 10% कस्टम ड्यूटी और 12% CVD है तो 22% का इंपोर्ट के ऊपर कॉस्ट आता था एक ट्रेडर के लिए, क्योंकि ट्रेडर को ना तो कस्टम का ही क्रेडिट मिलता था ना CVD का मिलता था, उसको मिलता था SAD का। अब क्या हो गया कि वो जो CVD है वो मर्ज हो गई IGST में, और उसकी वजह से क्या हुआ कि कस्टम ड्यूटी केवल लगने से इंपोर्ट जो है वो 12% सस्ता हो गया। तो आपको मैं बता दूं कि जिन लोगों ने उस टाइम पे, जुलाई के टाइम पे, जस्ट कुछ महीने पहले बड़ी बड़ी मशीनरीज इंपोर्ट करी थी, जैसे रेडीमेड गारमेंट्स के लिए या बेड शीट्स बनाने के लिए, बाद में उन्होंने उन मशीनों को लोहे के भाव में बेचा है, क्योंकि इंपोर्ट जो है वो इतना सस्ता हो गया कि अल्टीमेटली जो है उनका सर्वाइवल जो है मुश्किल हो गया। आई एम अवेयर, आप एक बार पानीपत जाएं, पानीपत में बहुत बड़ा बेड शीट्स का और हैंडलूम्स का काम होता है। उन लोगों ने जो नई मशीनें उससे कुछ महीने पहले खरीदी थी, बाद में उन्होंने उन मशीनों को लोहे के भाव में बेचा, क्योंकि उनकी डिमांड टोटली खत्म हो गई इस केवल और केवल इस एनोमली से कि वहां पर उस ड्यूटी को तुरंत रोका नहीं गया कि अगर आपको इंपोर्ट 12% सस्ता होता है तो मैं सर्वाइव कैसे करूंगा। तो अभी आज की तारीख में हमें ये देखने की जरूरत है कि कहां पर प्रूडेंट प्रैक्टिस फॉलो नहीं हो रही है, कहां पर ऐसा नहीं है कि हम अपनी इंडस्ट्री को प्रोटेक्ट कर पा रहे हैं। उसके बाद धीरे धीरे करके हम आत्मनिर्भर की बात करें, धीरे धीरे सप्लाई चेन की डेवलप करें, धीरे धीरे अपनी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कैपेबिलिटीज को बढ़ाएं, और फिर उसके बाद हम जो बातें कह रहे हैं वो हम बातें कह सकते हैं।
यस सर,
उमेश जी, मुझे एक पॉइंट ऐड करना है बस इसमें। सर ने, प्रेसिडेंट सर ने काफी अच्छी तरह से एक्सप्लेन किया है। सो इसमें और जो भी MSME है, इन्होंने इंपोर्ट सब्स्टिट्यूट पे ध्यान देना चाहिए। उन्होंने देखना चाहिए कौन कौन से इंडिया में मेजर इंपोर्ट चाइना से हो रहा था। सो आई थिंक दे शुड फोकस मोर ऑन द इंपोर्ट सब्स्टिट्यूट। एट द सेम टाइम ऑफ कोर्स क्वालिटी में जो हर बार डिफरेंस आता है, सो टेक्नोलॉजिकल एडवांसमेंट करके वो मैच करने की कोशिश करनी चाहिए। इस पे सारा MSME का फोकस होना चाहिए।
Yes, Abhijit, thank you for your timely guidance. And Atul sir has given us a very good scenario of China impact. Sir, one more question has come up that insurance rates are going up. How it will affect the insurance industry post lockdown? Because there will be lots of claims, force majeure clause will come up. So what is your guidance to the businessmen in this scenario?
देखिए उमेश जी, अगर इंश्योरेंस इंडस्ट्री की बात करें, फोर्स मेजर्स की बात करें, तो आपको भी पता है कि जब हम लोग फोर्स मेजर्स जो है वो आपको कब एप्लीकेबल होता है और कब एप्लीकेबल नहीं होता। तो पेंडेमिक की सिचुएशन के अंदर फोर्स मेजर्स एप्लीकेबल नहीं होते हैं, और जो है वो अपने को कल को कोई, मान लीजिए मैं ही हूँ, मैं कुछ आपको गुड सप्लाई करता हूँ और आप बोले कि फोर्स मेजर लगेगा और आपको इतना जो है आपको ये सब लिक्विडेटेड डैमेजेस लगेंगी और ये सब कुछ होगा, तो वो सब चीजें वहां पर नहीं चलती हैं। तो इसलिए स्ट्रेस है, स्ट्रेस की कोई बात नहीं है। खाली अगर एक सेक्टर में बोलूं तो स्ट्रेस है और दूसरे में नहीं है, तो ऐसा नहीं है। नेचुरली तो स्ट्रेस जो है वो हर एक पूरी इंडस्ट्री को स्ट्रेस है और इंश्योरेंस सेक्टर को भी स्ट्रेस रहने वाला है। लेकिन क्योंकि मैं IRDA में मेंबर हूँ बोर्ड का, तो मैं इसलिए आपको सिर्फ इतनी सी बात बता सकता हूँ कि इस बात को ध्यान में रखते हुए कि इंश्योरेंस सेक्टर जो है वो कहीं पर भी प्रॉब्लम ना आए, तो जो मॉनिटरिंग का लेवल था, जो क्वार्टरली या 6 मंथली मॉनिटरिंग होती थी, इंश्योरेंस कंपनी की मॉनिटरिंग को बढ़ा के मंथली कर दिया गया है। तो उनके जो सॉल्वेंसी नॉर्म्स को मंथली रिव्यू किया जा रहा है, इसलिए कि कहीं पर भी 1 मिनट के लिए भी कोई इन्वेस्टर है जिसने इंश्योरेंस सेक्टर में इन्वेस्ट किया हुआ है, जो मैंने अपना जो पॉलिसी धारक है उसको प्रॉब्लम ना हो, उसके लिए IRDA ने अपने नॉर्म्स को और ज्यादा इंप्रूव कर दिया है, और ज्यादा स्ट्रिंजेंट कर दिया है, और ज्यादा मॉनिटरिंग को बढ़ा दिया है, जिससे कि इंश्योरेंस सेक्टर पे कोई इम्पैक्ट ना आए। तो ये दिस इज ऑल आई एम कैन शेयर विद यू, कि मैं क्योंकि बोर्ड मीटिंग में जाते हैं तो हम लोगों ने उनको खुद इस बात को देखा है।
Yes, sir. You have very vast experience, sir. We are getting some bits of that experience. Sir, now last suggestion that how an individual investor should look up in the coming quarters. Which are the shares or which are the areas which will spring up quickly and which will take some time? That is
देखिए,
the
मैं
question.
आपको
That is the question
उमेश जी,
which has come up.
उमेश जी, पहली बात तो ये कि आज की तारीख में इन्वेस्ट करने का टाइम बहुत ज्यादा नहीं है, क्योंकि थोड़ा सा तो जो है, आपको अभी मुद्रा साहब ने बोला कि थोड़ा पैसा संभाल के रख लीजिए, ठीक है। इससे पहले भी मैं एक मारवाड़ी के प्रोग्राम में गया था, मारवाड़ी युवा जो अपना प्रोग्राम होता है, राठी साहब और सब बोल रहे थे, दुर्गेश काबरा जी ने प्रोग्राम ऑर्गेनाइज किया था, तो उसमें भी जो है उन सबका फोकस ये था कि थोड़ा कैश फ्लो को संभाल के रख लीजिए, क्योंकि सैलरी भी बांटनी है और अल्टीमेटली कलेक्शंस कब तक होगा, क्योंकि जो साइकिल है डेटर से कलेक्शन का वो काफी ज्यादा अपने आप में स्ट्रेस होने वाला है। तो इसलिए जो है वो उस एंगल से अपने पास जितना कैश की अवेलेबिलिटी हो उतना बेटर है टू मेंटेन द सर्कल। नाउ कमिंग टू द इन्वेस्टमेंट, मेरा ये मानना है कि क्योंकि मैं एक्सपर्ट नहीं हूँ, मैं आपको बिल्कुल क्लियर कर दूं इस मामले में, और मैं इन सब चीजों को एनालाइज भी नहीं करता, पर एक एज ए कॉमन मैन अगर मैं बोलूं तो जैसे हम टेक्नोलॉजी की बात कर रहे हैं, तो अच्छी कंपनी जो फ्यूचरिस्टिक टेक्नोलॉजी पे काम कर रही है, जो टेक्नोलॉजी इंटरवेंशन कर रही है, जो मान लीजिए फाइनेंस सेक्टर में, तो जो टेकफिन कंपनी है एग्जांपल की बात है, तो उन कंपनियों का फ्यूचर जो है वो कंपैरेटिवली अच्छा है, बशर्ते और फंडामेंटल्स ठीक है। तो बाकी सारे फंडामेंटल ठीक है, लेकिन अगर वो सेक्टर के अंदर दम है, मैं ये बोलूंगा कि टेक्नोलॉजी सेक्टर के अंदर दम है एज कंपेयर टू अदर सेक्टर्स, क्योंकि फ्यूचर जो है वो टेक्नोलॉजी का है।
यस सर, थैंक यू सर, आपने बहुत अच्छा हिंट दिया कि एक टेक्नोलॉजी सेक्टर के ऊपर वॉच रखें।
मैं आपको अब एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल देता हूं आपको टेक्नोलॉजी से रिलेटेड, टाइम आपके पास भी वो है और मेरी भी 5:30 नेक्स्ट मीटिंग है, पर मैं आपको एग्जांपल देता हूं। आज से 2 साल पहले की बात है, एप्पल के शेयर 3 महीने में जो है वो शेयर्स के मार्केट काफी ज्यादा गिर गई, उनकी टर्नओवर बहुत बड़ी, लेकिन उनके रेट्स गिर रहे थे। तो किसी ने उनसे पूछा, तो उन्होंने बोला क्योंकि हमने 3 महीने से कोई नई प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च नहीं करी है, इसलिए जो है वो मार्केट गिर रही है, ठीक है, हमारी टर्नओवर बढ़ रही है। सो टेक्नोलॉजी का मैंने इसलिए बोला कि और सारे पैरामीटर्स अगर ठीक हैं तो टेक्नोलॉजी की कंपनियां अच्छी हैं। पैरामीटर्स और क्या है? इन्वेंशंस कंटिन्यू है, न्यू आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स वर्किंग कंटिन्यू है, नया इंटरवेंशन कंटिन्यू वो कर रहे हैं, R&D पे वो काम चल रहा है। तो अगर वो काम करेंगे, अदरवाइज क्या है, टेक्नोलॉजी कंपनी अगर 6 महीने अपने आप में नई प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च ना करे तो वाइप्ड आउट हो जाएगी सिस्टम से। तो इसलिए दैट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट।
यस सर, थैंक यू सर। और सर एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन आपके लिए। You are head of all the doctors of wealth. As a CA, it is said that you are a doctor of wealth. और कोरोना के अंदर हेल्थ के डॉक्टर के पास से बहुत सारी सलाह ली जा रही है, तो ये बिजनेस वर्ल्ड को एज अ डॉक्टर ऑफ हेल्थ आप क्या सलाह देना चाहेंगे सर?
सर मेरा तो यही कहना है कि हमें अपने फंडामेंटल्स पे काम करना चाहिए, और अभी जब ये हमारे तीनों जो पैनलिस्ट थे, शायद उनका भी जो एम था वो यही कहना का था कि अपने फंडामेंटल्स पे काम करिए। ये समय जो है वो, जैसा कि बड़े बड़े हमारे मैं कहूँगा कि चिंतक हैं, उन लोगों ने भी ये बात कही कि ये वर्ष जो है वो एक्सपेंशन का नहीं है, ये वर्ष जो है वो अपने आप को सस्टेनेबिलिटी का है। तो कोशिश करिए कि जितना बिजनेस हम कर रहे थे उसका अगर 10% डाउन जाके भी सस्टेन हो जाता है तो भी 1 मिनट के लिए अपने लिए ये सही समय है, एज कंपेयर टू हम इस टाइम पे एग्रेसिव इन्वेस्टमेंट या एग्रेसिव एक्सपेंशन की बात अगर हम लोग करें। अपने आप में कुछ ऐसी लाइन ऑफ ऑपरेशंस जहां पर लॉस ज्यादा है, जहां पर इन्वेंट्री ज्यादा है, जहां पर कैश फ्लो की स्टकिंग ज्यादा है, उस लाइन ऑफ बिजनेस को थोड़ा स्लो करें। वो लाइन ऑफ बिजनेस जहां पर साइकिल अच्छा है, उस लाइन ऑफ बिजनेस के ऊपर जो है वो ज्यादा काम करें, सो दैट कि ये समय जो है वो बैलेंसिंग करने का है, एग्रेसिव वर्किंग करने का नहीं है।
Yes sir, the word you have used, that is balancing, that is one of the best thing that you have said, because the balance sheet, if it tallies, if it is balanced, then only it's a balance sheet. And as a chartered accountant head, We are there in a partner in nation building. आप सब लोग जानते ही है, और सर हैंड टू हैंड गवर्नमेंट के साथ में रिप्रेजेंटेशन करते हैं. Whatever representation or issues are there, we will collect it and we will forward it to sir. That will be done by Aniruddha ji, and we will coordinate with this. To sum up the complete session, sir, we started with the Mundra sir.
Umesh, unfortunately, my video has been stopped by host for quite some time. Fortunately, audio is on. So if video
give me a moment, I'll just do it.
So I don't want people to think that I have just skipped from this meeting.
Mr. Mundra, just give me half a minute. I will just fix it.
You do that, and while they are doing, I am just tempted to add to what Gupta ji was telling. It was very famously told after the last crisis that we should not reach to a situation where there is nothing is left on the right side of the balance sheet and nothing is right on the left side of the balance sheet. So essentially that is what you have to guard against.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mundra, I think your video, आपकी यहाँ से
नहीं, I tried, but then every time I was told host has stopped it. Now
is it? So sorry. Yeah.
No, it's fine.
Yes, thank you, Mundra sir, for giving your views to conclude. And we started with the most experienced person in this banking, financial and insurance sector, Mundra sir. So he has given the all remedies which are available for a borrower and for this sector. Then we can say that एक जैसे कोरोना में एक पुरानी दवा, तो वैसे सर ने वो दवा हमको दी है, और नई दवा यानी डिजिटल एरा, उसकी जो डिजिटल बैंकिंग की जो बात है वो अभय जी ने कही है. So all the participant has got the idea of old remedies as well as new remedies, and we have got the doctor of wealth, यानी जिसको हम बोलते हैं कि एक सही डॉक्टर के पास में जाएंगे तो सही सलाह मिलेगी कि कौन सी दवा लेनी है. Whether we should go for NBFC, whether we should go for nationalized bank, and where to invest. तो ये जो सही राय और सही जो कंसल्टेंसी मिलनी है वो सीए से मिलनी है, और हमारे आईसीआई के प्रेसिडेंट सर हमारे साथ में थे. सो ये एक बहुत अच्छे माहौल में आज डिस्कशन हुआ है, दवा का भी डिस्कशन हुआ है, डॉक्टर्स का भी, और होप सो की दुआ भी हम सबको जल्दी से मिले और कोरोना की जो भी मेडिसिन है वो जल्दी फाउंड आउट हुए और हम सब इसमें से बाहर निकले. तो लोकमत के जरिए हमने ये एक प्रयास किया था आप सब तक ये नॉलेज पहुंचाने का, और भी हम आगे करते रहेंगे. I thank all the three dignitaries, and now I hand over mic to Aniruddha ji, please.
Thank you so much, Umesh ji. आपने already sum up अच्छी तरह से किया है. I would not like to add to that. Mundra ji, धन्यवाद. Thank you so much from Lokmat family, from Lokmat readers. Abhay Bhuttara ji, धन्यवाद. Atul Kumar Gupta ji, thank you so much for your kind words. And I think in such short time, all of you have put together a very vast information. What we were going to do as Lokmat is through our newspaper and through our social media, जो हमारी Facebook है, Twitter है, YouTube, उसके माध्यम से हम ये information ज़्यादातर लोगों को पहुंचाने की कोशिश करेंगे, जिसकी वजह से बहुत सारे लोगों को फायदा होगा, because they are all looking for the right information. So thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you.
And
Thank you,
thanks
sir.
all the listeners and viewers who are listening to us. Thank you so much again.
Thank you,
Dhanyawad,
sir.
sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Atul sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mundra ji. Thank you, Abhay sir. Thank you,
Thanks.
Ji.
Thank you.
Yes.